we want to show you guys what Bill de Blasio, what is he, the puppet ruler, the sheriff? You know, Nottingham had a sheriff. There's the sheriff of Nottingham. Bill's kind of the sheriff of New York. We're going to run a video of what he says they have the power to do to make people comply with COVID vaccine mandates. And then we're going to think about that for a minute. And then we're going to hear what Dr. Fauci has to say. Let's take the clip of de Blasio on CNN.
So I come back to that point where unless everybody's on the same page in the country, we're kind of screwed.
And you know how you get on the same page? People have to lead. So look, I believe with enough leadership, enough mandates, we're going to get a hell of a lot more people vaccinated. The more people vaccinated, the more we actually make the transition to a time when COVID is in the background, not the foreground. And we know these mandates work, and we know people respond. Look, human beings are pretty predictable. If you say your paycheck depends on it, or your ability to enjoy life and go do the things you want to do, people will make the practical decision overwhelmingly, and they'll go get vaccinated. But we aren't pushing hard enough.
What a cold-hearted thug. Seriously, people are predictable. When you tell them you're going to take their paycheck away, their ability to buy food for their family, yeah, they're probably going to respond to that. And then the psychopath has the guts to go past that and say, well, even at that, we're really not pushing hard enough. Grant, this is not what an American politician says. This is something I expect from a little tin pot dictator on the other side of the equator. What is this?
Yeah, he's literally describing blackmailing Americans into getting a vaccine, which is just against everything America stands for. I understand he wants people to get the vaccine. We can sit here and argue all day about whether people should get the vaccine or not. It's a personal choice. If you want to get it, you should get it. If you don't want to get it, you shouldn't get it, and you should be okay either way. But for him to try to blackmail people to make his decision, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like the reverse of protection money. In a protection racket, you pay the mob so that they don't do something to you. In this, you get a vaccine so that you'll be able to get paid. It's like a reverse protection racket. And Tara, where does de Blasio think he gets either the legal or the moral authority to make comments like this?
Well, I think it just goes to kind of how leftism operates in general, because the left views everyone as a monolith and just this collective mass. I don't think that they actually understand the concept of personal autonomy, personal responsibility, and just the idea that you personally should be responsible in your life. And because of that, because they think that the government should be this overseer and should be the God in your life, I don't think that they see it as a problem at all that they're taking away your money, because I truly think that he views that money as his, and that Manhattan and his little New York island is his little island that he can control. And so he ultimately controls the paycheck. He doesn't care about Bob and Judy and random people walking down the streets. He just cares about the monolith in itself and the fact that he is power. And I think that COVID-19 really has allowed these people to become power hungry, and they're hanging on to it for dear life. Yeah. And I think that right here, de Blasio is hanging on to relevancy.
Yeah, so he's fulfilling his purpose as he sees it in the grand scheme of things. Well, of course, St. Anthony was out speaking, and I think this time he was talking to the American Chamber of Commerce, and he shared with us the circumstances under which we can have a nice Christmas. What did he say? I've got it written down here. He gave us the conditions under which we can enjoy the holiday season. Take it away, Tony.
We can get through even a winter surge by implementing the countermeasures that we have: vaccinations, boosters, masking in indoor settings, being prudent in caring, for example, about wearing a mask indoors. You can enjoy the holiday season with your family if you're vaccinated and your family members are vaccinated.
You can enjoy the holiday season with your family members if you're vaccinated and if they are. So, Tara, I guess we take from that, if you're not vaccinated or your family members aren't vaccinated, no enjoying the holiday season for you. No Christmas for you.
We're just going to be stewing like the Grinch, going hate, 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 pointing at Anthony Fauci and Biden. Yeah. Oh, so dumb.
I do not understand this, because if you look, Grant, I was looking at the data earlier today. You can look at South Korea, where they have unbelievably high vaccination rates. and COVID is popping there too. Now, I think the idea of getting vaccinated, especially if you're in a vulnerable population, is probably a good idea. Both my parents got the vaccine. I'm glad they did it. I haven't gotten it. I don't feel like I'm in danger. I've also had COVID, and I'm fine. But what is this? What is this fetish with the Democrats about getting vaccinated when you see COVID still a scourge in Israel, and you see it popping all over South Korea, where they've had the vaccines like crazy? What is this?
Yeah, I think it's the same thing that Tara was just talking about, which is it's about control. It's not about science. They can say that it's about science or it's about listening to the experts all they want. But the fact is that people who are vaccinated are still getting COVID. If they do get it, maybe it's a milder case, and that's great. But this idea that the vaccine is somehow going to wipe out COVID forever, and we're never going to have COVID anymore if everyone gets the vaccine, and that's what needs to happen, and everything will go back to normal, that's just not true. I mean, the vaccines may be good at giving a more mild case, and I'm not arguing that nobody should get vaccinated, but this idea that we need to do it in order to live our lives, and once we do, everything will be great, I don't think either of those points are really true.
Yeah, and that's been the refrain through all of this. In fact, when we took my wife to the emergency room, I shared about that on the show a couple weeks ago. When we took her to the emergency room, the attending physician said, "Oh, the one thing everybody needs to do is get vaccinated." It is just unbelievable how they are pushing it.